Hey everyone, welcome to episode 12 of Tony Takes on the CrossFit Open. This will be the final episode. This is just a wrap up. Going to answer some questions that I got, kind of grouped them together into like a group of 6 questions. Well, really it's 5 questions, and one of them is just a question that was so crazy, and I know it has to be from somebody I know, so I just left it in there. And so basically, first off, just wrapping up the CrossFit Open here. And so overall, I finished in 164,635th place out of 195,562 people. So that was the 15th percentile overall worldwide. Then for the United States, on the men's side, I was 76,684th out of 91,816 for the 16th percentile. So, like I expected, near the bottom, but not quite all the way at the bottom. So now let's get into the questions that I have here, which I figure will start serious and then I'll get into the kind of funnier ones that I got, or the answers are going to be a little bit funnier, I think, than the first ones, which will be a little bit more serious. So the first kind of big question that I asked a lot was, has being overweight negatively affected your health, or something along those lines? And for me, yes, it has, and that is probably the biggest factor was that about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic, but I'm at the early stages of it where my body still produces insulin. So it's one of those where trying to get healthier also can help reverse that, and the fact that if I lose enough weight, I could reverse the type 2 diabetes and go back to basically being a non-diabetic person, I guess, according to my doctor. So that's part of why I want to get in shape and see how that works out. The next one is, do you worry about getting hurt? Especially with CrossFit, where it seems more people get hurt. That's another one I got asked a lot, which I don't really worry about getting hurt because I've worked out before, I've lifted weights before. So a lot of it's knowing your body, knowing your own limits, so that way you don't try and really overdo it where you're going to hurt yourself. And also our coaches are really great about making sure we're using proper form and being safe when we're lifting. Like a great example of that is in the Open, it was the third workout, I believe, where we had the walking overhead lunges. So I tried to do that RX where I was holding a 50-pound dumbbell over my head, and I was falling way behind because I could not keep it balanced over my head. And so one of the things the coaches noticed was that instead of my arm being straight up overhead, there was a lot of it drifting off to the side, along with forward and backwards, which is really hard on the shoulder. And so because of that, they're like, hey, just go scaled, because they let me try it. And then when they were like, yeah, you definitely can't do this, and we don't want to see you getting hurt trying to do this. So just go to the scale where you're just carrying the dumbbell on your shoulder, and you're not going to worry about injuring your shoulder there. Next up, was your training different, or what was it like during the Open? Really, during the Open, all I did was I just went to the regular CrossFit classes. For me, we had every Thursday was what we called GOAT Day, which was you just pick 2 movements that you were weaker at and you worked on those, which was nice. Also, it worked out really well for me because Friday is already my normal rest day, because with the class schedule and my work schedule, I can't make it in for a class on Fridays. So that was already my work day. So I had basically my rest day going into the Open workouts, which was very helpful, I think. Got me rested up. Any little bit of soreness I had it went away. Also, during the Open, I tried to make sure I did weights that I already knew I could do Didn't try to push myself really too hard on going heavier on the weights where I might be sore for a couple days. So that way I would stay in better shape and would be feeling better all during the workout, which was great. Though now that the Open is over, I'm starting to, keep working where trying to push the cardio, but also going a little bit heavier on weights than I have done before in practice, such as the other day when we were building to a heavy snatch complex. If you saw some of the earlier videos for the Open, I said the heaviest I had snatched was 95 pounds. So for me going RX at 95 pounds, it wasn't an issue because I knew I could do that. And I did say in the review video for that it felt really good. So then the other day when we did a heavy snatch complex, I decided, okay, I'm going to try and work up to 115. I did 115. It felt good. So then I went up and I did 125 as well. And that felt good. So, I mean, that was nice that I was able to get up to a snatch of 125 pounds. So I've already, added 30 pounds technically onto my personal best snatch. But really now it's one of those things where I'm comfortable with that, and it's going to be probably, a few weeks, month from now when we're doing another heavy snatch complex, I will try and increase the weight beyond the 125 pounds mark and just kind of keep slowly working it up there and also working heavier when we're doing power snatches and things like that in the regular class sessions during the WODs and everything. So now, next up is, what is your diet like? A lot of questions regarding my diet. And like I said earlier on, I wasn't really following anything. I was just trying to eat healthier foods, basically, and eat smaller portions, and eat, when I was eating not so healthy food, like fast food, things like that. And so, actually, in the last few weeks or so, I've gotten a little bit more serious about my diet in that I am counting my calories and counting my macros. So macros are carbs, fat, and protein. So for me, my goal is to stay under 1,880 calories in a day. That's like my goal. And then also with the macros, my goal is basically just hit the protein, and then I don't care where the rest of the calories come from. Because my goal for protein is 170 grams of protein in a day. So for me, basically it's, can I hit my protein goal and stay under my calories? Which a lot of that, to do that, I've drank protein shakes because I don't eat a breakfast in the morning. I've just never been really a breakfast person. I think part of it's because when I was in high school, I swam. So that actually answers another question that people ask a lot, like, do I play sports? Which, yes, I do play some sports. But I did swim in high school, and so for us, we had morning practice. So the first thing I did in the morning was get up and go swimming, and then I'd have breakfast after that. So I find a lot of times I'm not hungry in the morning, so I won't eat in the morning. I'll wait till lunch. But so kind of to work with getting my just metabolism going and everything earlier in the day, I've started having a protein shake in the morning. So that right off the bat gets me 25 grams of protein in the morning. And then I'll have another protein shake after I work out. So there's 50 grams right there. And then my meal preps, I do. One of the big ones that I really like that I just started doing is I have just shredded chicken breast that I let sit in the crock pot for 3.5 hours, and then I shred it. And then I just divvy it up into containers. First I had barbecue sauce. After I shred it, I had barbecue sauce in the crock pot, mix it up, let it sit there for half an hour to really let the sauce soak into the meat. And then I just divide that up. And then that's my lunches for the week, which that gets me about another 80 grams of protein. So with the 50 and 80, that puts me at 130. So then for my dinner, all I need is 40 grams of protein. And so there I can still kind of sneak in some junk food from time to time, especially if I'm doing, because I'm doing pretty good calorie wise, and I have plenty of open calories left for me. Usually it's in the 13 to 1500 range that I have left for calories for the day. So that's where I can sneak in like, oh yeah, I'll go to McDonald's and grab a quarter pounder with cheese or something like that. Or yeah, I can have a couple pieces of pizza as my dinner. Then, okay, now we're going to get into more of the funnier answers. Well, I did say the sports question, so I do want to get that out of the way. So, like I said, swam in high school. I played soccer growing up. Soccer is probably my favorite sport. Because that's another question I get. Do you watch sports other than CrossFit? And yes, I do. I love sports in general. Soccer and MMA are probably the two at the top of the list. Football's right there as well. I watch basketball because I love March Madness. I watch baseball here and there, but not really that much. I watch basketball, professional basketball when it's in the playoffs. I also really like hockey. I'll just watch a game when it's on TV. That kind of thing, especially if it's the Wings. And if you follow Revolutionary Sports Front on Instagram, you know that the four of us went to a Red Wings game when Joe was home at Christmas time. So now moving on, the next question is, are you the fittest on the podcast? Which I'm pretty sure this is a reference to the fact that the winner of the CrossFit Games is called the fittest on earth. So technically in that aspect, since I was the only one from the show that did the CrossFit Open, I would be the fittest on the podcast. But I'm going to be real about it. And taking into if you're considering what the CrossFit Open workouts were, I would say I'm the second fittest on the show. I would put Joe number one because for those of you who don't know, Joe has always been in amazing shape. Joe loves working out. Joe's very serious about working out, his diet, all those kinds of things. So I would definitely put him number one because with the workouts that I know he does, he could definitely have done these open workouts. And he can do a pull-up and I can't. Moving on down the list would be me then. And then I would say Frank in third place. And the reason I put Frank in third, even though if you saw a picture of him, you're like, man, that guy's really in shape. Well, Frank considers himself a bodybuilder. But here's a quick tease for you guys. The next series we're going to do is some of Frank's workouts, which from talking to Frank, he seems to do two workouts. He has arm day and chest day. So he's either working biceps and triceps or his pecs. That's about all he does. So yes, Frank always skips leg day. So considering we had squat cleans, we had thrusters, things that are going to be a lot of leg movements there. Yeah, lunges, wall balls. So, yeah, Frank skips leg day. Frank's out on those. And then, of course, I'll put my brother Jerry last because, well, he just started working out again using the weights that I have in the basement here at my house. So, yeah, it's, he's probably skinnier than me, but I'm sure if we put me against him in these workouts, I'd beat him, which if he sees this, I know he's going to be mad about, but hey, deal with it. I've offered to, told you many times you should come to the gym with me. I offered to let you come film me. You wanted to, spend time with your friends or help your friends move or sleep in on a Saturday. So we didn't get videos of me working out, and you didn't get a chance to show me you could actually do any of these workouts. So that is why I would say I'm the second fittest on the show, after Joe, of course. And then just the last question, which was one that I'm not going to say who asked it, but it's because people have seen what I eat, and that is, what is your McDonald's order? And I know this is referring to before I've told some people one time what I had from McDonald's, and it was, I had the McDonald's app on my phone, which is great because I've literally, in my unhealthiness sometimes, have placed a mobile order from McDonald's from the parking lot of the gym after finishing a workout. Not going to lie about that. Not my proudest moment, but I have done it. And so, with the McDonald's app, you get deals for McDonald's through your phone. And they used to have buy one, get one free on the quarter pounders with cheese. Now they're buy one, get one for 25 cents. So still a great deal. But so, back when they were buy one, get one free, I would usually get two quarter pounders, not double quarter pounders, 2 quarter pounders with cheese, a 20-piece nugget, and a large Coke. And that was a meal for me. Which I don't even want to get into how many calories that is and how just completely unhealthy it is. But that's just an example of something that I have eaten in my lifetime. And yes, that is probably to a lot of people disgusting, considering when I said that one time at work, multiple people at work were just like, oh my God, that's disgusting. How have you not had a heart attack at this point in your life? So that wraps up the Q&A. That wraps up this series for now. It seemed like it was a pretty popular series, so we might actually bring it back in 6 months when I do the 2020 CrossFit Open coming up in October of 2019. Which I always like to iterate that the 2020 Open is starting in October of 2019 because of the changes they're making to the CrossFit season. And I think it's funny that this year we have 2 Opens in 1 year, technically. Where usually you have a year to prepare for the next Open. This year we get 6 months to prepare for the second one. Which for me, I did my first Open and now 6 months later I'll be doing my second Open, is my plan. To really see how much I've improved over these 6 months now that I have. So, like I said, the next series we're going to be doing, which will probably be a shorter series, probably only be, I'm saying 2 to 4 video range probably, will be Frank's workouts, what Frank does to work out in his, as I like to call it, or he calls it bodybuilding, I call it bodybuilding. And so, thank you for watching this series. If you haven't yet, please click subscribe below. And as always, thanks for being a part of the sports revolution.